We know you've been helping a lot of startups with their data management strategies. So, in your experience, what are the biggest challenges or problems that most of the engineering teams face, especially when they do not understand or foresee early on the demands of handling data at scale?
Absolutely. So for the startups who are very niche or who have just begun their business, a very common challenge which they see is, first of all, there is very less data because the number of users are very less, right? So the
Correct.
problems which we face are very different than startups who may have some data on based on which they can do some historical analysis and even predictions, right? So going back to the startups who don't have enough data, some of the recommendations is to interact more with users, do surveys, interviews, use third party sources to generate the initial data till we have our own set of users, and we do the feature development based on the analysis of those surveys and interviews and the third party data sources, right? And once we start developing the features, our products start getting mature, we'll get more users, right? So this is for a problem where we don't have enough data, right? Then there are startups who have moved into a category where they have enough users, we have enough data to do the analysis on, the predictions on, but the data remains siloed. So there would be several, for example, SaaS applications which a startup would be using. There would be transactional databases like MySQL, Postgres, where the actual business transactions are happening. There may
Correct.
be no SQL databases where they are capturing user profiles, right? Or the data where the schema changes, their product catalogs, and so on. There would be data which would be coming in from social, their handles, their chatbots, right? So
Correct.
how do we integrate this siloed data into a unified source is the most critical problem, and this is the job of a data engineer to streamline it, to automate it, and then to provide a source using which my downstream applications can then start running their use cases. So this is where I think most of the, not only startups but even the enterprises who are now getting into real-time data analytics and predictions get into. Once the silo data is unified, then I think post that it's a data science challenge, have the resources, have the models, whether to use custom model or use the cloud services and so on. So I think that's one of the key challenge. If they solve that, then we are done with most of the heavy lifting.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense because I'm sure many of us in this session would be able to relate to these challenges because most of the time when you start with a MVP frame of mind, right? You're not thinking big, you're not thinking about scale, the kind of data that you're collecting, where is it going, and how you'll probably collate it, right? So I think by the time you realize sometimes you're actually started capturing loads of data without proper strategies in place, maybe.